Hello.
Hello.
Oh, okay, let's do that again. My mic is muted. Damn, that was such. I fucking entered that so perfectly. I am talk that talk with Tokyeo, and I have Mev and Brandon with me. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
I was muted. So
The
today we're gonna.
second time was so weak.
It was. All right. Welcome to Talk That Talk with Tokyo. I'm your gracious host. Today I have along with me Brandon Curley and Mev. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello. You're gonna go with gracious. That's the word you're gonna go with.
Your gracious host. Why not? So today we're going to talk about Bitcoin, pornography, uh, the psychology behind the aftermath of the sexual assault, and a lot more. I want to get this out the way because I spoke about this last night. What's your guys' opinion on people who say that, who, fuck, how do I, hold on, how do I, all right, so there's porn, obviously, right?
Right, there's porn.
And then there's taboo porn, like mom and son, dad, daughter, mom and daughter, all that stuff. All that good stuff.
I mean, I thought like BDSM also follows under like taboo porn.
Yeah, yeah, BDSM does fall under taboo porn. So the question is, hey, do you guys watch taboo porn?
So like I'll watch like BDSM and whatnot. Like I'll watch that kind of shit because like that's intriguing to me. I have watched one mom and son porn, and I have to say that the acting was fantastic.
Yeah. What about you,
Not
Mev?
even the acting was fantastic, but it was like it was like I guess mother-in-law and son-in-law, and like he was fucking like the daughter and the
Oh,
mom-in-law.
those are good.
That was good. That was like good quality porn. I was like, okay.
Yeah, those are good. It's like, oh, he got them both. Cha-ching. The dad's not coming home. He's away for a business trip on the weekend.
She's
Yo,
down cleaning the
this is
kitchen.
throwing me off. I didn't know we were going there on taboo.
We're going everywhere, just like they do on taboo porn. What about you, Mev? What do you watch? Or do you watch taboo porn at all?
I used to just like from curiosity, and I kind of just thought it was like I don't know. I guess it was literally just to be curious. Generally, like honestly, I don't really watch porn like that.
So when you masturbate, do you just masturbate in silence?
The thing is, I
Darkness is what arouses her.
it's gonna sound like I guess whack, but like I don't masturbate.
What?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, so now I finally found the problem with you. You need to masturbate. Masturbation is literally psychologically proven to improve so many parts of your brain. You
I've
need.
actually encountered a lot of females that don't masturbate, and I don't know if it's because of like the lack of education around it, or if it's just lack of like desire to. But I know a lot of females that don't masturbate whatsoever.
You know what? That's interesting, the educational part. When we went to school, the male masturbation conversation was held year after year. And then when it came to women, it was kind of like they were told to shield their vaginas and don't think about it. And oh yeah, and your worth is pregnancy, but just wait till after high school. But I don't remember the sex ed teacher telling women. Well, then again, I wasn't in the women's sex ed class. Well, didn't the girls have a sex ed that guys weren't allowed into?
I don't know.
Huh?
According to Carla, as you got older, it got divided.
Okay. What'd you say, Mev?
No, for us, I mean, the last time that I've ever like educationally was learning about that stuff, it was both guys and girls that had to be in the classroom. But didn't really talk about like the woman's body that much, other than like the usual like periods and pregnancies, but masturbation wise, they didn't really talk anything about that.
I think the problem with the sex education in that respect is like for men it's taught to be like, you know, experiment with your body, that sort of thing, but for women it's always like scare tactics against pregnancy as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't educate you to like, you know, explore and experience what your body has to offer in that sense.
Mev, you have to experience and explore what your body has to offer.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that I never have tried. It's just like when I've tried, I don't know. I just had no desire afterwards. I just don't feel like it's the same.
To do it again?
And, huh?
You had no desire after to do it again, or
Yeah, like to just make it a thing
you have
every
to
once
buy
in a while.
you have to buy toys. That's what's
I was
going
about to
on.
say, have you ever used toys? Because I've been, so I know a lot of females that haven't masturbated, but I also know a lot of females that didn't masturbate up until they bought a toy, and then they said the toy changed everything.
Yeah.
I have, and I will say, it was lit. It threw me off. I was like very confused. Like, yeah,
It was lit.
but I don't know why. I just didn't go back. It's honestly
Hmm.
just collecting dust.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. So I think
I
I don't know.
I bought myself a pocket pussy. I have no shame in saying it. Whenever my
And was it worth it?
oh a trillion%. Like whenever my girl doesn't want to have sex, I rely on the good old pocket pussy, and it's phenomenal. Like I don't know how much I can say on Twitch. So you insert a said anatomy inside of it, and it has a grip of an actual vagina, and you put some whatever lube you like. I like the fire lube because it's like intense, and that shit like blast off. I'm like done in like 10 minutes.
I've never purchased a toy for myself.
You
Uh,
should. You
I
should.
have jokingly purchased a toy for other people, but it was completely in a joking context. I find that the whole purchasing of sex toys thing is really like an awkward experience almost.
Yeah, that's why I
It
buy them on
is.
Amazon. Thank God for Amazon. I bought mine on Amazon, and it only costed me $20, and that silicone pussy came right to me.
I didn't like the fact that when I ordered mine, you can completely tell, like, I outlined what it was when it was delivered to me.
Oh, see, what I did was I chose this is a gift, and then they put it inside of a gift bag, so you can't tell at all what it is. But I highly recommend buy yourself a vibrator. Oh my God, my legs are numb. 6,000, and then and then go back and watch some porn that maybe you haven't tried. Maybe go watch some lesbian porn or some tranny porn, whatever the hell you think might get you off, and then see what happens and go from there. Because I think one of the healthiest things my girlfriend ever did was get to know her body more as far as orgasms go. Because then when you get to know your body personally, like through masturbation, you know your body language, your sex language, and you can communicate that to your partner or partners, whoever you are choosing to have sex with. And you can have a great time every time you have sex instead of having to have a man guess like exactly how to get you off. Like me, I know exactly how to get my girl off in several ways because she got more comfortable with her body through masturbation, and I think it's a very healthy thing to do because it's better to know yourself than have people guess at your love language.
I've read that once you know a female having an orgasm is more likely to have an orgasm faster. Like the more often you have orgasms, the faster you're gonna have them.
Really?
Which doesn't necessarily it's like the opposite of men. To whereas if we go a long time without an orgasm, it's damn near like an instantaneous process.
Yeah.
But for females, the more often you have them, the faster they come. Has something to do with your, not so much the actual physical reaction, but like your mentality towards an orgasm.
Yeah, you start to know when it's coming and you know when to let it go. That's why I tell people that I think if God is real, God's a woman. There's just so much about the woman's anatomy that's just like so far separated from men that I'm just like, there's no way men and women are on the same like spiritual wavelength when it comes to the anatomy because women, like, bro, women can squirt. I don't want to squirt. I'm a dude. I'm fine with just busting a nut. It'd be weird if my cum was just
You
squirting
do
all
kind
over
of
the
squirt
place.
every time you orgasm. It's just mucus and sperm.
Yeah. Shout out to mucus. Shit is delicious. But anyways, um, like, excuse me, women. Look, Mev. If you get to know your body, you can get men to know your body, and they will know exactly what to do instead of you having to go through an hour and a half of treacherous head and shitty stroke. And that's the problem why women get so disconnected from sex and loving their body because they experience so many encounters with men where the sex is horrible. And yes, part of it is the guy's fault. Like they don't know what they're doing. They think that just fucking wall ramming their dick into the girl is sex. Like no, there's foreplay, there's head, there's like kissing, touching, teasing, all that. But men these days think that because they kissed a girl for 30 seconds, they can now just ram their fucking cock into them and then boom, you're both gonna come. So half of that is men who don't teach themselves to do more in sex, and the other half, in my opinion, is women not learning their own bodies and knowing exactly what they need and communicating it to their sex partner like, hey, this gets me off, I love this, I love that, I don't like that, like please don't even ask me to do that certain thing because that's a turn off and I'm not gonna be I'm gonna be dry, I'm not gonna be wet. Like don't even ask me to do that. Like I feel like women need to do that more because I had various sexual partners and they would not, a lot of them wouldn't tell me what they didn't want. So then when you go try something and they didn't want it, now it's like an awkward situation and no one's horny anymore, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, I meant like you said to explore, but I guess like, what if you have explored and you still don't know what you like? There was a
Re-explore
point where
again.
I even thought like, what do you call it? It's not asexual, right? Where a person just has no like sex drive or like sexual attraction.
If you have no sexual attraction, I think, I mean, that's
No
a,
sexual attraction is asexuality. You're not attracted to any sort of gender or sex or anything like that. You're
Oh,
just
okay, that's not it then. I mean,
she's
like,
saying no sex drive at all.
yeah, like if you okay, like I have had sex, which is like generally like I don't enjoy it. I don't really like. There was a point where I thought something was wrong because I just didn't care for it.
Well, I think that stems back to, I don't know how personal we're getting on this podcast, but I'm not going to speak on you because I don't know where you are with that stuff, but I can speak on myself. I was sexually assaulted as a minor, and I was talking to my girl about this last night. Some people shut down and they lose their sex drive either subconsciously or consciously. They know that their sex drive is gone after they've been sexually assaulted. Or the adverse effect, which was mine, where they're hypersexual and they want to have sex all the time and masturbate all the time and watch porn all the time. And that was me. After I was sexually assaulted, I think about around the age of 14, all I could think about was pornography. All I watched was pornography. I had needed to download it. I needed to have tabs open. Like I needed to think about it at school. And as I got older, I had a ridiculous amount of sex partners, which, I mean, I don't, we're not here to talk about body count, but I fucked anything with legs on it. And then as I started going to therapy, I realized my therapist told me that I was trying to compensate for the control that I lost from being sexually assaulted. I was trying to go back to my childhood and take back the decision and the control and the purity that was taken away from me. And I was trying to take that back, and as a young adult into adulthood, I was trying to reestablish that control by having as much sex as I could possibly have. And some people have the other effect where they don't want to have sex, they don't care for it. They like, it is what
I
it is.
actually, I actually have the opposite effect. I experienced around my freshman year sexual assault, and in turn, I actually chose I actually went the opposite route to whereas my libido and drive to have sex or anything remotely like that was immediately decimated. I had no desire for any of that, which also led to like a lack of exploring things sexually. Now, I still slept with people, I had relationship partners, but it wasn't because I went out my way to seek that. It was more so that was just a symptom of a relationship.
Yeah. And I don't know, Mev, do you have anything to say?
I mean, for me, it's just I don't have an answer.
Well, I explained to my girl that this is my theory. My way is the horned way, and then Brandon's way was the lights way. The horned way for me is I got fucked over and taken advantage of. I am now going to I'm going to dig in so deep to the dark side of life that if someone else tries to fuck me over, I will see it coming. Like if you think you got two horns over me, I got 666 horns over you, and I can fuck you over in so many different ways. And it doesn't just have to be with sexual assault. It can be in a regular conversation. Like my guard is always up. I'm ready for someone to disrespect me or, come at me sideways or whatever it may be. And that's why sometimes I come off defensive to some people, or some people come off as offensive to me when they're really not trying to be. Let me mute this nigga. And then there's the light side where Brandon was taking part of, and he was trying to, in my opinion, he was trying to take hold of the little light that he had left, because he had his purity and his choice to say yes or no taken from him, and he didn't want to lose whatever it is of himself that he had left. But that's just my opinion. That's the theory that I gave my girlfriend last night. And that's why I went to the dark side in all aspects of life. I wanted to see how dark I can go as far as fucking people over, addiction, everything. I wanted to, because I didn't want to ever be taken advantage of. But that fucked me over, because I thought, oh, this is the best route to take, because this will benefit me, because I can never be fucked over again. But in reality, I was fucking myself over and creating a sociopath, because that's what I was becoming, a sociopath. When you just focus on being the bad guy and the guy who knows all evil and can't be fucked over, you start losing, I guess you'd call it, humanity. You start losing empathy.
You start losing your identity. You
Yeah,
start becoming whatever identity you're trying to make yourself out to be.
exactly. Because this is one thing I've learned. If you're not who you are nobody, because you are no one else but yourself. So when you're trying to recreate your identity, forcing these new ideas and ways of living because of what you think you should be, you lose yourself. And that's the worst thing that you could possibly do, is lose yourself. Because no one else is going to find you but yourself. No one else knows you like you know yourself.
Hmm.
But yeah, sexual assault is, it's weird how that one time or the several times that it happens subconsciously can wire you to the point where you don't care for sex. And I know a lot of people like that.
Well, the fucking real shame of it is like when you talk to, and of course it happens with men, but when you talk to women, I mean, it's almost like something, I've met maybe a handful of women in my life that haven't been sexually assaulted, to where
Mm-hmm.
the vast majority of them have been sexually assaulted, and multiple times, usually from somebody close, like a family member or a close family friend. And that's fucking crazy when you go into like what it subconsciously does to somebody, and then you look at how many people are probably dealing with that subconscious trauma for the entirety of their life.
I agree. What
I
about?
do know people like I noticed that there's like two completely different reactions with girls mainly when they get sexually assaulted. Like I know people who have been sexually assaulted and they actually like they're very open about it, and also at the same time the way they react to things in general, like they're very like impulsive, they go into breakdowns and whatnot. But I noticed that the other side of people who were sexually assaulted, but like you wouldn't even know, they keep it to themselves, would judge against those that have been sexually assaulted and are open and are that have like bad reactions and breakdowns and whatnot. And I never understood why, if they've also been through the same thing, but just because they don't have breakdowns and they feel like, oh, I'm normal, I'm doing fine,
I think
they
that comes a lot from like your family, to be honest. Because I mean, like if you go and try and so say you're 12 years old and you're sexually assaulted, and you go up to your parents and they're like, and you're like, hey, I was sexually assaulted by so and so, and they go, no, you weren't. And if you were, it wasn't how you thought it was. Just move on past it, ignore it. I feel like internally you start to like suppress that. And anybody who can get their message out and there's a positive reception and people are being heard, it's not so much that they're lashing out at that specific person. I think they're more so lashing out at their specific trauma and neglect in that situation.
um
That's a very interesting way to look at it.
and why do you guys think that guys, some, not all of course, like why do you guys think that some guys feel uncomfortable when a friend of theirs who's a female expresses that they've been sexually assaulted?
Fuck, that's a great question. I can't relate because I have a lot of girl. What do you prefer, Mev? To be called a girl or a woman?
I don't mind either.
Okay, I have a lot of women in my life. Um, and know a lot of I have a lot of women in my life directly and indirectly who I know have been sexually assaulted, and I can't imagine being finding discomfort and being told, because my reaction immediately is empathy and comfort and support. But if I can tell you, maybe from standing in their shoes, if I could try to, maybe it's because they haven't matured enough and they think that now they're dealing with a female that's not clean. I guess that's the word they would use. FYI, I don't believe in any of this shit. I'm just speaking from their point of view. I don't understand how that thought process works, but maybe they see the woman as, I can't lay in bed with them because they've been taken. The same way that I think those are the same guys who care about a woman's body count. You know what? I'm going to do a fucking poll, and I'm going to see how many men are in the same group of caring about a woman's body count and if she has been sexually assaulted. And I guarantee you, probably above 80% of those men fall into the same category, because it's what's the word, sadomasochism, is that,
Yeah.
it's sadomasochism. Like, they think women should be pure for them. This is the funny thing, they want a freak but they want a virgin. They want a girl that knows exactly what she's
Yeah.
doing. Huh?
Exactly. They want a freak that's a virgin.
Yeah, they want a freak that's a virgin. They want a girl that knows exactly what she's doing but has only slept with one or two men. And they want a girl that's exclusively for them, but they don't want to commit themselves to be in a relationship with that woman. And I think that stems from fatherless homes, lack of, and not in the sense that only men can give other men a sense of direction, because I know women who have raised men to being exceptional fucking men. But for some men, a lack of a male in the household and a lack of direction and discipline and the correct education on women is what leads them to grow up to be extremely sexist, sadomasochist and just ignorant when it comes to dealing with women who have been sexually assaulted. If anything, if a woman comes to you that's been sexually assaulted and is now opening up to you physically, mentally, spiritually, and she's willing to have sex with you, the last thing that should be in your mind is how you can't sleep with her because she's been assaulted. You should see that she's now, after the traumatic experience, trusting and giving her body over to you, which is a sacred thing, and no one talks about it these days. The people you choose to have sex with, you take some of that person's energy back home. Like, everything is about fucking energy. I don't know where people or other people are on this subject, but and to me, everything's about energy. If you fuck someone who's a scum piece of shit, male or female, some of that energy rubs off on you. You know how they say you are who you hang with? You don't only start copying the mannerisms and the slang and the hot habits of the other people. You start to reciprocate the same energy that they release onto the world. So if you hang out with a piece of shit long enough, you become a piece of shit. And it's the same thing with sex. You have sex with someone who's not worth your time, who's a vile piece of shit human being, who's bad. Eventually that rubs off on your aura, on your spirit, on who you are as a person. So if a woman is, coming to you and opening up to you about being assaulted, and your response is, I can't be with you because you've been assaulted, then that's a very deep psychological issue that man has to work on, because that is not the correct response to a woman telling you she's been sexually assaulted.
Think to also interject and add, like Ishmael, I've never once felt uncomfortable by somebody confiding in me about their sexual assault or sexual experiences. If anything, I've always been empathetic as well and tried to comfort somebody in any sort of way that they feel comfortable with being comforted. But um, I think the main thing as far as men feeling uncomfortable when being told about sexual assault has a lot to do with the fact that I genuinely think most people don't think that it's a real or frequent thing, because I feel like a lot of people don't ever hear of stories highlighted about somebody being sexually assaulted. And instead, we tend to highlight cases where somebody's been accused of sexual assault and it's been
Oh, you
proven
hit the.
wrong.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you hit the motherfucking nail right there, bro. My brain was literally like Spider-Man webbing what you were saying and adding it to, well, I think personally people talk too much about those accused instead of the latter. But yes, continue. You, poof.
Yeah, so we have a strong tendency of going, oh, so and so was accused of sexual assault, and we're like, okay, and we kind of lean towards the victim in this situation, but then as soon as any evidence comes up that might clear the person who's being accused of doing so, we immediately hop on their case and we're going, oh, that person's a fucking liar, and we look at how many people's lives have been ruined because of false accusations. Which, by the way, anybody who falsely accuses somebody of raping them or sexually assaulting them is a fucking dickhead. Not just for the sake of ruining somebody else's life, but now you've discredited, in this exact way, you've discredited all these people who have these horrible, horrible experiences that scar them for the remainder of their life. You've discredited everything that they've gone through, and not so much saying that they haven't gone through it, but by now, when they go to say, hey, so and so sexually assaulted me, they're taken with a grain of salt. They're not, their case isn't fully appreciated. People are being made out to be liars instead. And I think a lot of men will walk into a situation, and even if they've never heard of it, experienced it, or know of anybody directly because nobody's ever confided in them, if somebody goes, hey, I've been sexually assaulted, I just want you to know that, and I'm confiding in you, they're going to look at you as A, somebody who's probably crazy and or lying, or B, somebody who's going to accuse them of sexually assaulting you to get some sort of gain, and that immediately scares them away.
Motherfucking facts from my boy Brandon Curley. Have a round of motherfucking applause for my boy. Because that is so accurate. Or, sorry, before I start ranting again, Mev, do you have anything to say? Like your opinion maybe on what he said or what I said?
I mean, no, that pretty much just answered everything that I needed. Because I mean, I just never understood why that was such an issue, and I don't think it's often that I meet men who are able to even explain it.
Yeah.
Overall, it's usually just always put to the side.
Well, men are really. A lot of men are.
That has a lot to do with being shallow and unable to discuss what you're feeling or what you think other people are feeling. Men have this weird thing where we're at large unable to put ourselves in the other person's shoes. We lack a whole shit ton of empathy. And that probably has a lot to stem from nature versus nurture. I feel like, on a nurture perspective, men are shut down from their emotions as a whole.
From a
And
young
it's been
age.
something that I've battled with for a long time, and only recently, through my girlfriend, start to express a lot of what I've been feeling over the years.
Let's talk about how motherfucking the right women that steps in your life can change you for the motherfucking best.
Preach,
That's bro,
preach.
that is fucking facts. Like I thought I was empathetic and like nice, and then my girl came into my life and like I was like, oh, I'm okay. Like she's on another level. I'm okay. Like
I realized that I was just like, my empathy was almost like a shallow empathy. Like it was empathy, but it wasn't like I wasn't really putting myself in other people's shoes. I was more so just going, I'm sorry that you've had to deal with what you've had to deal with. To whereas now I realize that I was just okay, like you're saying. I was just okay. And there was a whole lot more room to grow as a fucking person in general, as far as how I handle things and how I really view people and the struggles that they go through. The right woman can change your whole fucking perspective.
now, Mev, I want to ask you a couple of questions actually. How do
Okay.
you feel us as men can help you be more comfortable in general with maybe talking about your sexual assault or talking about things that like your red lines, like things I don't like you to do, um what I allow you to do in friendship or in a relationship, because I feel like women a lot of times have to go with the flow because they're told to until things get bad, and then women are allowed to react. But so many things have happened along the way of go with the flow that when a woman finally reacts and they blow the fuck up, they're like, oh, she's being over emotional, she's being exaggerating.
Yeah, they're seen as crazy.
Yeah, yeah, she's fucking crazy. And it's like, no, you're not seeing that. You guys have continuously told women to go with the flow, and something really bad had to happen for her to blow up about that. But she's got a mountain of shit that she's been holding inside because everyone just says, oh, go with the flow, men will be men. So, how can we as men do better to make you more comfortable and just communicate in a better way to avoid being in that spot?
I mean, like, it's just what you said right now. It's mainly just two things. It's either just communication or stay out of the way. Because if you clearly know that you can't handle things like that, as we're getting older, nobody's had like a happy life the whole time. So it's just that if somebody is giving you like a warning that they're not comfortable with something, you see that they're, kind of just like laughing it off a bit, but she's telling you that she's not cool with something. I this is something I don't understand from some guys, that they see it as they want to joke around back because the girl is sounding uneasy, but is like laughing it off. And instead of them understanding and backing away and just treating it like a normal situation where they could just respect it, they feel like either to keep making jokes about it as their way of still trying to ease into something that they shouldn't be crossing. If it's something that just won't work for that guy, they should just leave the girl alone if they can't face any further like steps that a girl's gonna take until they blow up. Because I noticed that there's a lot of guys, because they don't want to face that stuff, either they just disrespect you by getting mad or just kind of like gaslighting you into thinking like that you're overreacting even before you blow up. Those people, I feel like they're not going to be mature to understand in any way to communicate, so they just need to keep their distance. It is going to make a girl feel bad, but I feel like that is a lot better than just pushing into somebody's comfort zone and reaching that point of them blowing up. For communication, it's just I wish that guys would just not make a girl feel embarrassed for expressing themselves beforehand.
Embarrassed about, well,
Like there's guys who will act like, okay, no, I understand, but then they change their whole demeanor and make a girl feel like what they said was wrong, but without being upset. I don't know if that makes sense.
oh, like the fake, oh yeah, I understand. And
Yeah, like
then,
no, nothing's wrong, but then everything changes. Like the guy's more standoffish, the guy's more shorter in like his conversations. Like everything just they won't even just tell you straight up that they don't want to like either hang out no more or they don't want to like anything like that. They just put you in a really uncomfortable position, but pretend like, no, I get where you're coming from.
now I have one question. Do you think it would help if you explain, and this is not your fucking job to do so, but it's just a question. Do you think it would help to explain why your answer was the answer? Like, let's say you tell a guy, I don't like when you poke me. And his one of his favorite things to do is poke you. And you've played it off for a couple of weeks, but eventually one day he does it in a joking manner again, and you go, "Hey, I would appreciate it if you didn't poke me. I don't like to be poked." And he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I understand." And they get standoffish. Do you think it would help for you to then explain to them why you don't like being poked or some trauma behind being poked or whatever? Or do you feel like it's not their place to need to know even that much information? They should just respect that you asked to not be poked.
In my opinion, I mean, I myself, I would prefer to be asked why, but there are going to be times where we just don't want to explain it. We don't have the comfort to explain it. I feel like I would appreciate more if the person was curious to ask why. And if, let's say, if I just refuse to give that explanation, leave it as it is and just respect that person's wishes. There are going to be girls that will appreciate that they're being asked why. Some of them will actually want to express and they'll feel grateful the fact that someone is willing to wanting to figure it out rather than just getting offended by it.
And do you feel that you fall under that category? Like you want to be, you want the explaining to happen, or do you feel like you prefer not to be asked?
Um, 50-50 because there are certain things that I will be willing to explain, but then there's probably just like certain little situations that probably I prefer not to, at least for the moment, until I am comfortable myself to be able to explain it on my own time. But I do appreciate it if somebody does ask. But if I say, I don't really want to explain it, then at least wait until I'm ready for the day that I'm willing to do that on my own.
Okay. And how do you think we could do better on, as far as sexual assault goes? Obviously, I'm not talking about the ones who do it because that's simple. Don't sexually assault people. I'm saying, how do you think we could do better as men who don't sexually assault women? How can we do better to help those who do get sexually assaulted? Like if you have a friend who's being accused of it, or if you might know one of the guys who's being accused of it, how could we do better to help out with those situations?
Ooh, damn.
It doesn't have to be this super lengthy, super informed answer. Like, just say how you feel. How do you feel it would do you good or do other women good like certain steps men could take to help out, because the rate of women being sexually assaulted, like Brandon said, I honestly, in my life, I think I know maybe, I know a lot of women, and I think out of all the women that I know, maybe two have not been sexually assaulted.
It's a staggering number. It's ridiculous.
It's so fucking high. So what I want to know from a woman's perspective is, how can we help decrease that, or what are some behaviors we can adapt to help to deal with the ones who are fucking predators? Like, anything would help, because from a woman's perspective, I feel like you already know the behaviors of a creep, right?
Hmm.
I don't. I've never had a guy try to sexually assault me. I've had a guy hit on me, a gay guy hit on me, but that's not the same as a guy forcefully putting himself on you. So my question is, like, what can we do to help, with the
To like
creeps?
notice the creeps. Um, I mean, sometimes like creeps, like they kind of just try to make too many just weird jokes in front of everybody, but make it like pass as if it's just simply a joke. If you notice that a guy, yeah, because the thing is like if a guy is constantly making jokes about your body parts,
Wait, that
that's already a
happens?
sign there.
That happens?
Or that does happen, like where
Oh,
they'll just,
yikes.
yeah, so it's just like little things like that because I don't know, you can kind of just get the vibe off already, and it's just weird if a person is so pressed on either like your sexual life or your body parts, but they're constantly making jokes towards it. You can tell when a girl is getting uneasy. You see that they're laughing, but the type of laugh is completely different. It's just more like you just want that topic to get completely over with. When people are constantly just like pushing for you to spend time with them and you don't feel like hanging out, and they're constantly questioning you when you've already explained yourself, that's another sign right there. Um, and they just try to see it like you just don't want to be around me and stuff like that. Guys do that as well. Um,
Wait, guilt the girl when the girl doesn't want to hang out with them?
yeah, guilt without being aggressive.
So, like
They
a.
kind of just like like the main best thing ever is the gaslighting.
Yeah.
Guys gaslight, not all, but guys like majority of the time gaslight the shit out of girls, and they always try to hide it with playfulness. It's always playfulness that gets that helps them get away with it because they just assume, well, I'm not being mean to you, I'm not being an asshole, I'm not treating you bad. Like, what's your deal?
Yeah.
So they just feel like they have a sense of entitlement that a girl has to be around because of that reason.
So
So
it's.
that still feels forceful. Like you'll see guys who do that. It's probably not that often, but it's usually like in groups because they know that if you react in any way, everyone's going to see it as you're just being defensive and you can't take a joke.
Ooh, that's some sociopath shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
so they
they're
usually do it in like the
experimenting.
public.
Yeah, because they're experimenting with your reaction in front of other people, so that whichever way you react, it won't matter because it's in a group of people, so it won't make them look like a creep. It'll make them look like the guy who's just joking.
Yeah, and that's why they're when they do it, especially in front of a group of guys, that's usually why guys always feel uncomfortable of getting in because they also know that the people that are watching, even let's say if they get that it's creepy, they're still going to take the guy's side because they just feel uncomfortable of what's going on. So they rather dismiss their own guy friend being a weirdo by just simply also going along with it. Like it is a joke, like, right? Like, even if they actually feel like, okay, that was kind of fucking weird, but they don't want to be on the girl's side where it's going to look like she's just overreacting
Yeah.
and they're just killing the vibe.
I never really thought about the fact that they openly do it, like in a group of people. like just to feel you out. And what would you say is the signs that we should look for at a party or a gathering or whatever of someone like cornering you, basically, if that makes sense, like singling you out for the night and trying to get with you or whatever, and you obviously don't want to, because sometimes it's not obvious, sometimes it's not like sometimes it's not creepy behavior. Well, sorry, I don't know if it's creepy behavior. I'm not a woman. But sometimes in my eyes, it's not creepy behavior. Sometimes it's a guy offering the girl a drink and then getting her more shots. And I'll take shots with you if no one wants to drink. Like that kind of behavior, right?
See that? Yeah, that's normal usually, but you can tell the difference when a guy is like constantly calling the girl out, like, I'll take this if she does it. I'll do this if she does it.
I've
Like I'll
seen
just
that.
make up a name, like I'll just say Ashley. Like I'll do this if Ashley does it. Or, constantly like she'll even not even be hanging around him and he's just constantly like calling out for her. And the pressure, like, is just that, oh, like you gotta be lit and shit. So it's like, Ashley, come on, like where is she and all that stuff.
I wouldn't have even
Constantly.
thought of that.
And huh?
What was that?
Wouldn't have even thought of that.
Because even like one sign that definitely shows that a girl's not too fully into it, like you see how when girls are in parties and whatnot, if they're actually enjoying your time, they'll want to be around you. Maybe not the whole night, but like when they're being offered the shot, they're so into it. They're cheersing with you, laughing with you, and everything. You could tell
That's
she's
facts.
fine.
Yeah,
But
you
then
can
there's
tell when a
girls who
girl's.
like you can see that they're not even hanging around the same circle as that guy in the party, and that guy still keeps trying to look for her. Now the girl's not going to show that she's like getting annoyed or getting freaked out, but you'll notice that even after that shot or those first three couple shots that he keeps offering her, that she doesn't stick around with him. She's just kind of like wandering everywhere else and stuff like that, but she just doesn't want to be mean
She goes back
when
to her
he
friends.
keeps looking for her to offer it.
Oh, damn, that's some fucking. That's some spy, some Russian spy creep behavior. Like you don't even
Yeah, and then you
see it
don't want to
like
look
that.
like an asshole when the guy is doing, in front of people or just like, I'm going to do this if this person does it. And, she's kind of like laughing it off, like, no, no, I don't want, I'm good, I'm good. And he keeps going, come on, like stop being wag, this and that and all that stuff. And then finally she does it and she still doesn't stick around in your circle after you guys just took a shot together. That's like one of the main
Damn,
ones.
I didn't even fucking see that one.
Yeah, like she's not being mean to you, she's not telling you to fuck off, but that doesn't mean that she's not comfortable. That's already a sign like he's targeting of wanting something.
Do you think
If
that's?
it's really just to have a good time, like that rarely happens, but like why are you pressing her so much? There's so many other people in the party that you could be taking several shots with if you're just going there just to have a good time and you just want people to drink with you. Why does it have to be that one specific person constantly?
Damn, you dropping heat over here, Mev. For real, I didn't even. Because you know me, I have a know-it-all nature. I never even saw it that way. Because I've seen that plenty of times at parties. Hey, we're
It's
gonna
at
use
the
the
end of
name
the
Ashley.
night.
Sorry, any Ashleys out there? Sorry, but we're gonna continue using your name.
I've
But
also
like,
seen that at a ton of parties, and I would have never thought that that's. I mean, I can get to where like it'd be bothersome behavior if somebody was like, "Yo, I'm only gonna do it if so and so does it," and usually I know a bunch of people that would turn around and go, "Hey, yo, leave them alone." But I can think of plenty of college parties and stuff where there's nobody to turn around and go, "Hey, yo, leave it alone." They'll usually hype it up.
yeah,
Yeah, like I don't know if it's just because I'm used to seeing that and I like I'll see the aftermath and whatnot, but I can like sometimes tell a difference that if a person's like, "Oh, I'll take the shot if this person takes a shot." That person's down and everything like that, that's fine. Or there's people that a guy will know that she's not that okay, like she's on the verge of blacking out. Like you can tell in her face when she's pretty fucked up and
mm,
he's still pushing it. It's either that or moments when the girl's not around is when I'll interfere and be like, she doesn't want another shot. Like she's good. It's usually
mm.
girls who have to tell the guy to stop offering that other chick.
So you're saying men need to pick up on that more and
Pick up on that instead
and
of
be like,
cheering it
yo,
on. Yeah, because there are guys usually they'll egg it on because they're just thinking, hey, he just wants to drink with you. Come on, like, because they don't see it that way.
I think
They
men
just
need to
think,
stop seeing. This is. I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is what I'm about to say is fucking crucial. Men need to stop seeing every gathering that involves women as an opportunity to fuck them. And here's why. The less that you push on the women that you want to fuck them, the more they will fuck you. And I'm so serious, Mev. I know you can agree with this. The less guys are pressed on you to fuck, and the less guys make a social gathering about being on you, forcing you to take shots, fucking putting their hand on your around your waist or your back when they go to the bathroom, or all of a sudden they're like just way too fucking close, and their excuses, I'm fucked up, or I'm drunk, and they're just way too fucking close to you. If you guys stop making every fucking function that involves women the objective to end that night by fucking, you will get laid more because you're not going to come off as a creep. You're going to be seen as low key, and women love low key niggas. Women do not like niggas who are for everybody. Yes or no? Yes or no, Mev?
no, that's true.
Women do not like niggas that are for everybody. So stop making every function about fucking women, and you will get laid more. And you don't have to be a creep, bro. There's plenty of women out there who enjoy sex. Let women have a good motherfucking time. I grew up with a sister. Huh?
I think to add to that, and sorry to cut you off, but I think to add to that is men in general need more female friends and need to stop viewing females as just something to fuck. Just like what you're saying, you're not going to every party. You shouldn't be going to every party with the idea of I'm going to get laid tonight, because when you go out to like a bonfire with your buddies and shit, you're not expecting to get laid out there. You're expecting to have a good motherfucking time.
And
Why
I've been to bonfires where niggas show up and there's some girls there and there probably are family members like my sister, Franklin's cousin, or like Yoselin's coworker. None of those girls came to fuck, bro. It's a
right,
bonfire. They came to have a chill, good time. And niggas
right.
will show up and still try to fuck.
Yeah, there's no need. Look, there's enough ways and enough avenues to get laid in modern society. You don't have to make every party about it. It's not like it was in the 90s. We have technology. You can get laid any sort of which way, any time that you want to. You don't have to turn social gatherings into a fuck fest.
That's
Men need
facts.
more female friends to get more of a female perspective, and we need to stop getting female friends with the intent of getting laid by them. Not everybody wants to fuck you. I think that's a hard concept for a lot of people, both men and women, but specifically men together. Not everybody is friendly towards you just because they want to get laid.
That's
That's not
facts.
how life works. People are just
Exactly. Yeah.
naturally nice fucking people, and let them be naturally nice fucking people. If somebody blatantly tells you, yo, I want the dick, then okay, you already know what's about to go down. But if that's not the if they're just like, hey, how are you doing? Checking up on you and stuff, that is not a clue or a hint or anything like that. Some people are just being people, let them fucking be, which is why men need more of a female fucking perspective and not just dudes. If you think about any guy, aside from maybe a close couple friends that I can think of or something like that, most dudes I know only hang out with dudes. And then aside from that, the only female they're around is their girlfriend or whatever person they're fucking.
Or a girl they're
So
trying to fuck.
then when the time comes around that somebody's being nice to them, they immediately assume it's flirting, and they're immediately assuming that they're going to get laid off of it.
And you know what that shows me? A lack of intimacy. And the reason why they have a lack of intimacy is because they approach every female with their penis. Like, not with their hand to say hi, a handshake, or however the fuck a woman wants to say hi to you. You don't have to touch them at all. You can just say fucking hi. You don't need a hug. You don't need to kiss them on the cheek. Not all women like to be touched. I know women who specifically have told me that they hate when motherfucking they meet a guy for the first time, or it's their guy friend's friend. And, Jesus, excuse me. And the first thing the guy does is lean in to give him a hug, like as if they know each other, and sometimes even a kiss on the cheek. Like they don't need that. And to add to what Mev was saying, you don't need to see. I'm sorry, what Brandon was saying. You don't need to see everything that a woman does as, oh, please give me cock. Like that's, I swear, it's like most niggas see it that way. Yo, what's good, Damien? I appreciate you being here. Shout out to, hold on, let me give a quick shout out to Ninja Master, Nord Japan, Deathblade, and Damien. Um, Most women who are being nice to you, bro, don't want to fuck you. They're just being women. Women are naturally fucking lovely human beings. They're fucking sweet. They smell good. They're nice. They're nurturing. They become moms one day because of that fucking reason. So because that girl said hi to you, asked about your day, and is fucking having a conversation with you as human beings, like human beings, that doesn't mean she wants to fuck you. And I guarantee you, if you treat the connection you guys have like she would love for you to treat it as, it's just friends, just being friendly, having a conversation, maybe over a beer. You guys are playing pool with a group of friends. You guys are at a party, whatever. Maybe one day she's like, I think he's kind of cute. Like, let me make an advance. I actually find it harder when a girl tries to fuck me. I mean, I'm in a committed relationship right now, anyways, but I find it harder when a girl tries to fuck me than if I have to go try to fuck the girl, because I know there's complete comfort behind her thoughts because she approached me to fuck. I didn't have to go out of my way to, see what way can I like say, hey, do you trying to fuck? I'm a blunt motherfucker, so I let women know like how I am at first. I'm not disrespectful, but I let them know who I am. Mev knows who I am as a person. If I'm asked to fuck, I'm probably gonna be like, so are you trying to fuck? But that will never come out my mouth if I have not made you comfortable yet, and you have not given me any signals that that might be a possibility.
I'm with you on that. I find that it's much more, especially because it's almost like on a society thing, like you expect the guy to be the one to make the first move in general. Like that's just how you expect it to go. I find it much more comfortable if the woman lets me know her intent. Like with my current relationship with Carla, I find that because she was the one that was first interested and first made the move, it was much more comfortable because I knew she was comfortable with her decision.
See, and then there are the girls who are not comfortable with approaching, like, but the
It's
thing
fine.
is, like, but it's very clear that they will make it clear if they're down. If a guy, it's not always bad at all for a guy to make the first move, but if they're showing you no sign in return, don't push it. Like, that's what guys need to understand. And I feel like guys are too
If they
blind on
show,
noticing, like, oh, that she wasn't down. If she's making constant excuses, like, just because she's laughing, because laughing is like the biggest defense mechanism that girls use every time, because they're always afraid of the reaction that a guy will give. So I bring up laughing a lot because I've seen that so many times and I've experienced that myself and stuff. But just because no is not coming out of our mouth does not mean that that's the green light. Like, I wish guys would pay attention to that a lot more in public areas. That girls may not always make the first move because they either don't believe in that or they're just not comfortable with it or they just like the chase, but they will show you a sign back in return that they are down or that they
it's
like the attention or like they want to go along with it and stuff like that, and that's what guys need to pay attention to.
it's funny that you keep bringing up laughing as a defense mechanism because I don't see why guys don't see it that way. Because men use laughter as a defense mechanism too, but more specifically, we use laughter as a defense mechanism against anger.
Yeah.
Because we're in, it's fucking weird to say, but we're inherently angry. So, like, if my boss comes up and says something that immediately pisses me off, I'll laugh it off. I'll laugh it off as a sort of defense mechanism instead of kirking off and throwing a wrench at him or something like that. I'll instead laugh it off. And
Wait, wait,
it's
wait. Pause, 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 pause. I'm sorry to stop your spiritual train of thought, but Brandon, this is man to man. Do you think that is one of our flaws? Instead of addressing the fact that we were just disrespected, or someone said some shit sideways to us, we fucking do that. We just laugh it off because the alternate is I'ma fuck you up. So I'm gonna just laugh this off. Do you think we need to do better and like not laugh things off and be like, hey, I think that you could have said that better, or I don't like the way you just spoke to me. Like, do you think that's something we should work on? I think women as well. Stop laughing it off. In my opinion, stop laughing it off. Give them a serious face. Who fucking cares if the nigga gets offended? Tell the person right then and there, I don't like what you just said, or I don't think that was cool. I don't think that was funny. Make the man uncomfortable. The same
But
goes for us.
that cannot always be
Not
easy.
always. No, no, no. I know that. Some people are non-confrontational 100%. My girl, like, she doesn't even like asking people at the store who work there for where something is. I ask for her, and it's not because she's scared. She just doesn't like initiating an interaction with someone. So,
I think I think as men we could do better. The problem is like even with whether you're a confrontational person or non-confrontational person, at the end of the day, nobody wants to go to jail and nobody wants to jeopardize their social position. So, for example, with me, with my boss comes up, says something to me, it strikes me sideways. I have two options. I can laugh it off, or I can confront him and say, hey, what you said to me was out of line, and I'm not comfortable with it. Depending on the kind of person he is how that situation transitions to. So now I'm putting that control, that ballpark, and it's probably the same with women in the situation of being put up against the wall as far as creeps. You've now given that control over to somebody else. So if that person reacts negatively, so say my boss says, well, you know what, you're still being an idiot or something like that. Well, now I'm going to kirk off. He's going to kirk off, and it's eventually going to go to blows. Me personally, I can't afford to be sued or go to jail. So I'm going to laugh it off. And as far as for females, and don't allow me to fully speak for females in this situation, Mev, but I feel like it's probably for them, they don't want to be scorned by the group. If it's a bunch of people getting together, drinking and all that, and you react and go, hey, dude, fuck off. Seriously, I'm not comfortable. And they go, well, why are you being such a bitch? You don't want that image painted over you. And you don't want to be outcasted from the rest of the group just because this one person is good at manipulating a situation.
that's a really good point.
Wow.
I think it goes both ways then. I wasn't seeing it that way. I think we need to then learn to communicate our discomfort better. And instead of saying fuck you or, fuck off or you're an asshole, we need to say, I see what you're saying. I saw a post like, I think
People need to
yesterday.
learn how to reach a middle ground. And
We,
I think that's something key that while the older generation constantly says millennials are terrible at and all that, the older generation is the worst about it. We need to reach a middle ground without it immediately coming to being defensive.
yeah,
It's not
when,
about being offensive or defensive, it's about communication. So like if you get in an argument with your significant other, it's we need to get away from the society of always being right and get into the society of finding a common ground. And I know that sounds so cliche and so bullshitty, but it has a lot of truth to it. Because I can look at let's use my buddy Freddie for example. I can look at Freddie and him and I get in an argument. But at the end of the day, if neither of us is comfortable with what each other said, we kind of find a common ground and we go, you know what, you're right. I'm just not gonna say that, and you did kind of change my idea. Now we have the option to trade blows, and that'll solve it faster. But will anybody's mindset change? No.
no.
Will anybody, like anybody in our group? talk to us differently if we go to blows? Yes. So if instead we go and reach a mutual consensus, while it may not be 100% my way or 100% his way, if we reach a mutual consensus, neither of us has to lose friends, neither of us gets viewed as an outcast, and neither of us risks going to jail or permanently ending our friendship because we couldn't agree over a topic.
Finding middle ground and finding middle ground and learning to communicate discomfort should be the goal for everyone, because I feel like we should better express, I see what you're saying, but I don't appreciate that you think that's okay to say to me, because not only are you not being confrontational, you are expressing to them how you feel, and you are also explaining to them that whatever they just said or did made you uncomfortable, and nowhere in that sentence did you insult them, did you challenge their intelligence, did you demean them, did you belittle them. You just let them know, I don't appreciate what you just said. And it doesn't have to be in front of everyone. You can ask them to talk later, not immediately, because it's going to be obvious. You can ask them, you can ask to speak to them later or whatever it may be, and let them know, like, hey, I didn't want to say things in front of people. I didn't want it to,
Right.
escalate more than it had to be. I don't appreciate the thing you said, and I'm pretty sure you were not coming from a bad place, but what you said or did came off as disrespectful to me, and I appreciate it if you
And
didn't
like
do
you
it.
said, the key thing you said there was no demeaning, no lowering somebody's value. So, and I think
Because as soon as you do that, you lose them.
I think what Mev was saying about noticing creeps and what we had just discussed, I think that's a key way of approaching it. So like if a girl is being called out to do shots by a specific man, and we all know she's really close to the limits, but we're all there to have a good time, and somebody sticks up for her and says no, she's obviously almost done, and we all have that moment of clarity, because sometimes you don't realize it, but there is that moment of clarity right before somebody gets too blackout drunk and you're more sober than them, that's about to happen, and the person goes, why are you being such a bitch, let her speak for herself. We need to all jump in, especially as men, because you know nothing fights fire like fire. Especially as men, we all need to be jumping in and going, hey, she said nothing negative towards you. She was not mean or diminutive towards you. Why the fuck are you calling her a bitch? If that's your opinion of her, you can leave. I think we need to do better about jumping in and defending people who are either completely gone or borderline being completely gone, whether they can speak for themselves or not. And that's not to say that you're trying to be a cock block or anything, because I think we throw that term around way too hard. A buddy and this other girl are getting a little drunk at a party, and you think she's over the line, so you say, nah, bro, now's not a good time, now's not a good night, and you're called a cock block. I think we need to stop doing that and realize that sometimes as a human being, you have a gut feeling, and it's better to go with that. Unless she is fully conscious and well enough, she's only slightly buzzed or a little tipsy or something, and she's well enough to make her own decision. If she's drunk and blackout drunk, or he's drunk and blackout drunk, it goes both ways. I think we need to be stepping in and going, now's not a good time. Fuck the cock block, fuck the title, fuck how you feel about me tomorrow morning, whatever. That'll all subside. What I'm saving you right now is a night of trauma or a future of trauma, and let's stop this before it happens.
I agree. What do you?
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Ooh, there's been some. Everybody in this motherfucking life been dropping some motherfucking heat. I just want y'all to know that the chat, the amount of people that are watching us, they've been constantly saying Mev dropping heat, Curly's dropping heat, you're dropping heat. Everybody in here thinks everybody's been saying they're great. 2 cents. I think we're all. I think it's great that we're having this conversation, and it's important that we do, because we may think it's like common sense, but like I told Franklin yesterday, common sense these days isn't common. You know, you have to speak these things so that they do become common sense because a lack, like I said earlier, a lack of a father figure for men, a lack of communication for women, a lack of signaling and expressing yourself for women too often leads women or men in whatever situation it may be to a worse situation when we should train ourselves to communicate, you know, things that we're not finding comfort in and things that need to stop. And I think that's, you know, pretty fucking important. Um,
And there needs to be like respect for people who can actually defend themselves
yes.
and are confident to be confrontational and whatnot. Because I do notice one other thing. This isn't much about creeps, but it is about the whole like, not like I said, not for everyone, but there is a lot of like guys against girls type of thing, where when a girl is confident in themselves, defend themselves or call out a guy, I would notice that guys have more comfort of defending the boys than they would the girls, and they would be more they're more quick to going against a girl and make her feel more like shit, breaking her down because they see that she has her own back.
And I think it's because of the toxic thought of, you know, bros before hoes. When in fact you should be examining who is the bro next to you. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I would.
bro before hose is just like cock block. It is very much one of those terms that really just I feel like what you were saying. You need to examine the bro beside you. Not to interrupt you, but I'm agreeing 100%. That is very much you need to know who's around you, what they do, and what they're capable of as people.
Yeah, because sometimes there's no need to defend that bro, and you probably should have analyzed him a while ago, and he should have left the group of bros a while ago. Because thank God, the group of friends, Brandon's one of them. As far as I mean, Mav's obviously my friend, but as far as men go, Brandon's one of my close, very. I mean, he's like a brother to me. But the men I have in my life, I do not enable any of them, and it's. I mean, it's not even a conversation. They're not those type of men. But every guy that's watching this, because I'm gonna post this shit on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Every guy that watches this clip, I'm gonna post. Examine the bro next to you, because you're goddamn near 30. Maybe you're 24, maybe you're 22, maybe you're 21. You're still not that far from 30, bro. Time flies. And you should not let time pass you by with scum next to you, because you may not be scum, but the scum shit that that bro is doing will rub off on you or affect you one day. You know, birds of the same feather flock together. I think that's what the saying is. Eventually you become them or you enable them. So check the cock block and check the bros before hoes. The only time cock block is legitimate is if you're my fucking bro, this girl's giving me the green light, like she's DTF, and things are going well at the party, and then you come in between me and her about to go to a room or something, and you say, hey, I want to go. And you're like, can you wait? And you go, nah, let's go now. I want to go. I'm not feeling this party. That is a legitimate cock block. If someone is drunk, if a woman is drunk and she cannot answer for herself, or you think she can because she's kind of speaking, because some people have mastered the art of being responsive while blackout drunk, and I tell you, hey, she's too drunk, like maybe y'all can reconnect. Not maybe, y'all should reconnect after the party and see how it goes then. And then you're telling me I'm cock blocking. I'm sorry, that's not a cock block. That's a rape block. I'm avoiding you from catching a motherfucking charge and creating trauma for someone that does not need it. But check your motherfucking bros. Because a lot of you niggas do not check your bros. A lot of you niggas hang around with full blown rapists. Y'all know who I'm talking about in Virginia, who be fucking inviting underage girls or barely legal fucking girls to parties to fill them up with Xanax, rape them, and then it's over with. Y'all know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about with that creep ass behavior.
think as men, being as like what we talked about, we are by far the more confrontational and very quickly the ones that will lead to a violent confrontation. I think if we find somebody that's being like that, I'm not suggesting vigilante justice, but we need to make sure that, people like that get put into a position, not only reported to some form of authority or monitored in some way, but we need to make sure that, if we see them doing anything like that and they're being real pushy and shovey, we just knock their fucking ass out, because by allowing them to get away in any sort of fashion, we're kind of teaching in a way that that kind of shit's okay. Frankly, if I see somebody taking somebody drunk upstairs and I go, hey, nah, now's not the night, and they get confrontational with me, at that point, it's not laughing it off. You need to be clocking somebody, and you need to be making it known that that kind of behavior is just not acceptable. Fuck
No
the cops,
facts.
fuck everything else. You need to be knocking people out for fucking around and being stupid like that, and potentially scarring somebody for the remainder of their life. Trauma is different for everybody, and everybody adapts to trauma differently. And
I know a girl that never wants to have children ever because she was sexually assaulted. Her dream was to be a mother. She said that she wanted 4 kids at least. And she wanted 3 daughters, 1 boy. She said the boy was going to protect the girls. And she got sexually assaulted. I'm not going to say names, obviously. That's her fucking privacy. And she never wants to have children because she fears it will happen to one of her daughters. That traumatic experience, that person did not deserve that, and she will never have children. Maybe she goes to therapy and it changes, but so far, and she's 28 years old, so far she does not plan to have kids, and she says she might not even get married because she lost all trust in men. Why? Because a man that she trusted in, who's been her close friend for decades and she's loved, did it to her. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't some guy who roofied her at a bar. It wasn't a friend of a friend. It was someone that she thought would die for her. He did that to her. So you niggas need to start checking who the bro is. Check the girl at the fucking party. Well, you shouldn't be at a party right now because of COVID. But when this shit is over, check the nigga at the party, bro. I guarantee you, more niggas around you will start defending your actions when you start knocking niggas the fuck out for being creeps. There's no reason why a girl who's knocked out on a couch should have a nigga next to her feeling up on her body at a party and nobody does anything about it. Because I've had to intervene in scenarios like that. Like, what are you, like, bro? Get up! What the fuck are you doing? I've had to do that. That scenario should not be fucking allowed anywhere, regardless of who the fuck is on that couch. Regardless of who it is, check the bro. And if it's not a bro, check that nigga, bro.
in general, like, if your buddy's too far gone or the girl's too far gone or whatever the circumstance is, we need to be checking that in general, because sometimes, and it's less likely, but sometimes your bro's too far gone and he's not 100% aware of what he's doing. You need to be putting him aside and going, hey, dude, you're cut off. You need to go throw up in the fucking toilet or whatever. And it's not to kill anybody's high, it's to let people know that, like, you're fucking up and you're not in a good enough mental clarity sort of state to realize you're fucking up. So just let me be your moment of clarity here, and you need to go sleep. You need to just go take a nap, go sleep, fuck off for a little bit, let people, simmer down, let the party die down. You need to fuck off, because at the end of the day, even if you're too far gone and the girl's too far gone, in my mind, it doesn't lean fully. I believe in that sort of scenario, you could make the argument that both people raped each other because neither was capable of giving consent, and both of you need to just you both done fucked up. You both need to fuck off.
Who's
So
smoking weed?
I think I think as a whole, we need to do better about addressing those situations before they happen, not afterwards. Not discussing who raped who because both were drunk. Not because I see a lot of that too. Us going, oh, he was drunk too, so You could make the argument that he didn't give her his consent. We need to be stopping all that well before any of that happens. We're all adults. We all fucking know better. Before it even gets to that point, if you are both blackout drunk, you do not need to be near each other. You need to be the fuck asleep in your own fucking bed.
That's facts.
Facts.
All right.
Facts.
I'm gonna touch up on the last subject. Stimulus checks. Motherfucking other countries are getting billions of dollars from us, and we're getting $600. I'm not even getting a check. I've missed out on the stimulus 3 times now, or twice, whatever.
Twice. Only been able to get it twice. So I've always stated that America, being one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest country on the planet, should 100% be helping other countries out. But in this situation, especially in a global pandemic where we have a large number of people, and it's not about the death toll, getting sick, and most of which getting severely kind of sick. What they always talk about is how COVID has a very low kill rate, and it does, but it has a very high put you in the fucking hospital on a ventilator rate.
Yes.
And that's not fucking cool or comfortable to anybody. And that's a very traumatic experience. And
I'm one of those people. I literally got COVID the worst. Like, I couldn't use my own lungs. I was on a fucking ventilator, and then I was on an inhaler for 2 months, and I couldn't taste food for 2 months, and like that was me. And niggas was not offering, fucking help.
Right. So, in a state of global pandemic, and more specific, a nationwide pandemic that's jeopardizing the people in America, I've always had this philosophy that America should kind of stick to its side of the globe as far as like where it sticks most of its major assistance. I'm okay with America allocating funds to help people in India and shit like that, but this side of the globe, Canada, Central America, South America, should be our main priority of focus for defense, helping, all that kind of shit, because these are all the people that are primarily associated with America and the development slash building of America, aside from Africa, America, fuck
Hey,
that.
hold on, Curly. Sorry for interrupting. It is past 6:30, so I am gonna have to go, guys.
No, that's fine. You stayed here
Alrighty.
well
So it
past
was
time.
great talking with you guys, and hopefully I'll be able to talk with you guys again on this broadcast.
No, we love
All
having
right.
you. Stay safe.
Alrighty. Have a good night.
Bye.
But I've always felt like we should do more on this side of the globe anyways, but right now in a state of national pandemic, we should be helping the people in America specifically. The people in America are the people that are, right now, not a whole lot of people are getting foreclosed on, for example, in Virginia, because we've suspended a lot of that, but you still have to pay rent. So if you don't live in a house, you're being punished because you still have to pay rent. Um,
Yeah.
you still have food expenses. People got to fucking eat. And, I've sat down and done the math. I've lost $10,000 alone this year because I don't work overtime. Now, when you think of that, $10,000 is a lot of money, but more so, that's money you get used to.
Yeah.
So all your bills and stuff, when you factor in how much debt you're able to handle, how much you're able to provide for your family, what you're allowed to do recreationally, all that's factored in at the beginning of a year. And when you're cut short $10,000 of that, I mean,
That's a big fucking cut.
it's crippling. And so the fact that our government has given us, with this $600 check coming in, us without children have been given in total $1,800 with this check coming in. So it was $1,200 initially which was essentially $100 a month for the entirety of a year. And then yeah, with the new fucking bill coming in, we're given $600, and if the $2,000 never gets passed, that's essentially less than $50 per month that everybody is getting for the next year. You've given me $150 a month for 2 years worth of a pandemic when I've lost $10,000 because of not being able to work overtime. And keep in mind, my overtime is taxed heftier because I'm in a different tax bracket, which helps you pay for this. So instead of doing anything to help me out or the average blue collar working American citizen, you've instead turned the tables, made us into the bad guys, made sure that you get your paycheck, and funded other countries and completely ignored the mass consensus. I hope to God that all those motherfuckers never get a single re-election in their fucking life, because goddamn have they dropped the hat for the American people.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, they really fought over if they were gonna send out the 600 or not. Like it was really a
Them
debate.
motherfuckers, did you see the pictures of Congress? They were asleep.
Yeah, bro.
Sitting there talking about the financial the how the American public is in financial jeopardy, and they were sitting there snoozed, not even fucking conscious. These 80, 90-year-old motherfuckers need to stop sitting in
Die.
electric seats.
Die. They need to die. They're dinosaurs. The rock hit. Them dinosaurs is gone. Y'all need to go with them. I know it sounds fucked up. They got families and shit, but the problem is that as long as they're alive, they still associate with younger people, and those younger people are so hungry to get in those positions or close to those positions, they do whatever that old head says. When those old heads are done, we can have more millennials and more people closer to our age connect with older people, because there'll be no more fucking dinosaurs roaming around telling the cavemen what to fucking do. Once the T-Rex is gone, the cavemen gonna feel safe trying new shit out. There'll be no rule over their fucking heads of, oh well, this is how things have been, this is how we've been doing things. Fuck how y'all been doing things, bro. Look at the state of this fucking country. People are going fucking homeless. Over 9 million people on unemployment because of fucking COVID. And they make it an argument about, oh well, if you keep your restaurant open, you're breaking the fucking law. And partially, I'm like, yeah, bro, like, what the fuck are you doing? You're spreading COVID. But then I look at it at a point of view from someone who's a business owner. What the fuck do you want them to do? You're not helping them. So they can't close the business, because if they do, they'll go bankrupt. They'll lose the business. They'll lose everything they work for their entire motherfucking life. But if they keep it open, they run the risk of spreading COVID by having people come in. And people make it that small of an argument. They make it that conversation so fucking small, when you should look at the grand scheme of things and realize the problem is the motherfucking government. These businesses should be fucking covered for as long as as long as COVID's here, so that it's a closed business. You can only have takeout, and they can still afford to pay all their fucking staff. Do you know how many of my girls' friends lost their fucking job at the beginning of last year and had to move back in with their parents? Some of them having to deal with abusive or alcoholic or addicted parents.
Dude,
Bro, it is a ridiculous amount of people had to fucking do that shit. And
I
that's
know
why.
we're caught in a jeopardized situation as far as our finances because of the pandemic. And I'm going to respond to Damien real quick in the chat. Damien, the reason why you've probably been selling more has a lot to do with the people that have been given stimulus checks. More specifically, you look at people like government workers and stuff that are able to work from home and don't have to go in, but are still receiving their salaries. Humans are inherently easy to get bored. We get bored very quickly, which is why we've been able to make as much as we have within our short time of existence. So as far as you being able to sell more, people need hobbies. People need shit to do. We get bored, and one of those things is picking up a musical instrument or something, which is something we should all be doing anyways, but most of us don't have time to do. But back onto topic, as far as people losing things, Carla and I actually ended up in a very, very close to home situation with finances and stuff. And a lot of that has to do with me not keeping track of my financial situation very well, but also the lack of the overtime put me in such a hole that I was unable to keep up with my own bills, which led to me being, at the end of every 2 weeks being almost negative $234 plus every single paycheck. So I was getting paid just to pay off my previous behind payment.
It's it's disheartening to see people think that the problem is the average American citizen when it's the government should be, give these businesses money to remain closed, pay the fucking staff, and then when things are normal, we'll get it fucking popping. You think people want to be in their house anymore? Bro, I want to go. I want to fucking travel. I bought my tickets to Japan earlier last year, and they never took the money out of my account because boom, travel ban. I wanted to go to Japan so fucking bad. I've been talking about it for 3 fucking years. We can't go. You cannot go to Japan if you're from America, Italy, like a bunch of places. There's only like 3 countries that are allowed to go into Japan, and it's for business. You have to be there. You have to prove that you're there for business. No tourism, which I'm sure is an enormous hit on the economy of Japan. Because how many motherfuckers go to Japan on a yearly basis?
Travel right now has been a huge hit for most of America. I think the main thing people need to take away from the stimulus check, and this is how we need to start looking at politicians. This is how we should have been looking at politicians. Right now, if you took, what is it, the Senate's what, 100 people? Is Senate the one that's 100 people?
I
200 people.
I believe so.
Anyways, if you calculate, say the Senate's 100 people. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm a little tipsy. But if the average person in the Senate is making $100,000, which they're not, they're making more than that. If the average person in the Senate right now is making $100,000 per year, they are still getting their salary right now, which totals out to $1 million. They're still getting their salary right now, and they literally just argued about whether or not to give the American people $600
Yeah,
for
bro.
the entirety of a year. So I think what people need to take away from that discussion is, even the people that might have voted in your favor may not be 100% for the idea of the benefit of the American people. Because if you look back in history, Social Security, for example, the government on multiple occasions has borrowed billions, if not trillions, of dollars from the Social Security program, which means that the federal government is indebted to the people. And instead of paying us off and giving us our due diligence, our what we deserve as American people for funding everything that goes on in this country, instead, they argued whether or not we deserve $600 or whether or not they should continue financial aid for those that are on unemployment, or whether they argued against assisting the American people on every level because they said that would overcap their spending. And instead of doing the rational thing of backing off their budget, asking for the multi-billionaires on that have made their money off the American people for assistance, even paying back what they owe us from our social security and all that. Instead of doing any of that, they said that would overcap what we spend in a year. We can't justify giving you guys any more money. And I think we as American people should, I think the world should look at the American government and go, not only is that not fair, but that's bullshit. I work hard, you work hard, Carla works hard, Damien works hard, my dad works hard. And none of us are ever going to get to see retirement. None of us are ever going to get any assistance that the current generation has. So why don't you
Nope, we
do us
gotta
a
make it
favor
ourselves.
and just help us while we're still working to pay your paychecks? Why don't you just help us a little bit and get us through this tough time? I'm not asking to make $1,200 or $2,000 a month off the federal government. I'm not asking for that. I don't think anybody in America is currently asking for that. But what we're asking for is you can calculate off of what we made the previous year for some of us, help us with that loss. And then in addition, you know, a lot of us have struggled immensely with mental health, with our, with what's going on with us physically because of stay at home orders and stuff. The best you can do is compensate us because you, the federal and state governments, had the shittiest reaction to a pandemic coming from a foreign country and implemented not a fucking thing. As the federal government, you left it entirely to the states on how to react to this virus. And in
Yeah, that
turn,
was
some
fucking
states are lagging so far
embarrassing.
behind that the United States is still unable to travel or do anything outside of its own country. Even without, even state to state, it's questionable about how you can travel. So, because you had no guidance and you reacted so shittily, we deserve compensation because we pay y'all to react to situations like this, matters of national defense, and you squandered it.
Nah, bro, give me my fucking 2K a month. Give me that shit. You just made me more fucking pissed off, dog. Just thinking about the fact that they said, "Oh my god, I'm livid right now." I just remember they said each state will handle it to what they see fit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's a world pandemic. Y'all niggas should have shut everything down, gave the businesses the money, gave the people the money to stay home, and we'd be like motherfucking Switzerland Swiss cheese right now. Done with COVID, traveling, having a great time, growing at our jobs, not gaining weight from staying at home, not busting our asses at another fucking job that's not your regular day job because your other job sends you home or terminates you like they did on my girl. Bro, this government is ran like fucking Uncle Julio's. They told my girl, y'all will come in tomorrow and still have a job. We're just gonna cut down on some hours because of COVID. And around like fucking 10 or 11 p.m. at night, everybody got an email saying you have been terminated in the middle of a fucking pandemic. The government is ran like Uncle Julio's in Austin is ran. And by the way, fuck you, Uncle Julio's. Terminating people without fucking letting them know ahead of time, and then telling them, hey, Guy Fieri is on Twitter offering people who worked in the restaurant business some money. Why don't you go sign up under his link? Bro, suck a big, long, fat, black, and white dick, dog. They
That's the problem. Is it shouldn't be up to Guy Fieri to fucking help people.
That's what I'm telling you. It's a celebrity showdown. That's what America is. It's all about how we look. It's not about what the fuck we actually do. America the Great, the United States of America. I'm proud to be American. I'm a patriot. Over what, dog? Look how they treated old people. They started sending old people to fucking nursery homes, and they started dying by the hundreds there. Because it was like the opposite thing that they should have fucking done. They still got fucking places here open in Austin because the people can't afford to have their business closed because or else they'll lose their fucking business because the government won't bail them out. But we can send 500 billion fucking dollars to Israel. We can sure as fuck do that shit. We can send money to fucking China. We can send money to Russia. We can send money to South America. But we can't take care of our own motherfucking people in America. So what we do, we slap them on the wrist and we tell them, you better be proud to be a fucking American because it is a privilege to live here. Nigga, what? How? How? Explain that shit to me. Niggas in Switzerland are better off than me. But I'm living in the place that you say is number one. Number one in what, nigga? And fucking this up? Y'all fucked this up so bad, and you're still fucking up. You're still questioning if niggas deserve $600. What you mean? If we deserve $600 fucking dollars? What the fuck do you mean? And niggas is still in Congress getting paid over 100,000. Stop letting these fat old motherfuckers that fall asleep during sessions get paid. Stop letting them fucking have lobbying. You stop their motherfucking pay, and then they'll start working for the fucking people. But as long as you still sign their checks, they don't give a flying fuck about you. Oh, Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie Sanders, none of them care, bro. They're well off. Bernie Sanders is a guy who often talks about, I'm for the people, the 1%, they need to be stopped. It is unfair, the wage inequality for all of... Nigga, you a multi-fucking millionaire. And you still make money for just showing up and talking. $200,000 for talking for 30 fucking minutes, bro. I don't want to fucking hear it. Stop looking up to these old-ass white people to change this fucking country. Because it's not going to happen. It happens with this motherfucking generation. We've been through it, bro. With this generation's been through it. The old generation, y'all don't know what struggle is. What the fuck are you talking about? Y'all used to go to the grocery store with $20 fucking dollars and be able to come out with a whole fucking grocery list. Go with $20 to the fucking grocery today. See what you come out with. A carton of milk and a big fuck you. Shit is not the same as it was before. And that shit is what gets me so fucking livid. If you want change, stop at... Why do you guys keep asking change from the old motherfuckers that never brought change? Motherfuckers voted Biden in. Biden's not gonna do jack shit. He hasn't for 47 fucking years, and he's a racist. I'm not saying Trump is a better alternate because he caused so much division, but Biden's not bringing that fucking sweet old juicy change that you swear to God he's gonna bring. The nigga's half asleep.
I agree. Fuck voting for the old people and all that. But I think in addition to term limits for all congressional seats, we definitely need to have more of an incentive for Congress to act accordingly and quickly. For example, right now, Congress is sitting there debating on whether or not to pass stimulus bills and whatnot. I think in matters of national crisis, Congress's salary should be frozen anytime they go beyond 2 to 3 business days worth of debating.
Nigga, and when they say we might shut down because we can't come to an agreement, what the fuck are you talking about we might shut down?
Well, they get paid if they're shut down, and that's the fucked up part. The only people that won't get paid is all the other people that work for the government that aren't in head positions. For
Yeah.
example, my stepfather who manages, I can't say everything, but he does some sort of managing for NIH as far as finances. He will no longer get paid during a government shutdown, but a Congress member will. And I think it's bullshit that a Congress member will, being as you're the one that's actually elected by people. So if you're elected by the people, anytime the people get their money frozen in any sort of way, you 100% shouldn't get fuck all. Like legitimately, your check should stop from the moment there's any sort of freeze up. In
No
two to
cap.
three business days, me and everybody in my company could sit down and discuss what the fuck needs to happen to the company and have an agreement. And that's 2,000 people. You're telling me that a room of 300 to 200 to 100 people can't come to that decision? Bullshit. 2 to 3 business days, you can make a decision. If you can't in that amount of time, then I'm sorry, you simply should not be getting paid for wasting my time and your time.
And our tax dollars. And they turn it into a defense bill. And they make it into, they want headlines. Mitch McConnell says that the 2000 can't pass because fuck Mitch McConnell, dog. There's 300 million fucking Americans. Why the fuck are y'all, get that nigga the fuck out that chair. Bring a fucking guillotine to the nigga's crib, bro. Mitch McConnell says the Americans shouldn't be receiving more. Look, y'all niggas think this nigga's okay because he said no to the 2,000, but he said yes to the 600. Fuck that nigga. You know what he said before? He said no one should get any type of assistance because the economy would be back up by this fall. It's motherfucking January, nigga. Where the fuck is the economy? Where the fuck is COVID? Still here.
I've been investing in stocks this entire time, and the economy at large has been doing all right. I will give people that. But the economy has been doing well at large because of the hope that that the COVID will go away. That is
Exactly,
all
because
the
we have that hope. Because
exactly.
we run shit. Because we invest money, dog. Because of
Anytime
us.
the government has this standstill, and I've watched it with my own investments, anytime this government has a standstill over stimulus relief, more specifically putting money into not only corporate America's pockets, but the people's pockets, anytime there's any sort of standstill, the economy tanks. So all they're doing is hindering the economy by continuing to create this standstill. You put money in people's pockets, people spend money, people then support the economy grows. That's how an economy works. Anytime you hinder that process in any sort of way, I here's the thing. I can bitch about Trump all I want, but the corporate tax cuts have done phenomenal for the economy.
Don't get
The
me started on
moment
the amount of good shit that Trump did.
the
Because mother.
moment that you hinder the people's ability to spend money to support those corporate tax cuts, you have now hindered the economy in such a way that there was no point in giving corporate tax cuts to begin with. The fact that these Republicans and these Democrats that have been in the that have been in government, that have studied the American economy for multiple years, can't even learn these concepts or understand these concepts is a sign that they're very uneducatable people as a whole, and very blind and bigoted to what the real world is like, and all they give a shit about is the fact that they receive their next paycheck. Honestly, fuck them all, vote them all out. I'm gonna be honest. I don't mind AOC. I don't mind people like that. I'm okay with far left and far right ideas. I'm okay with centralized ideas. We just need to get the fucking old people out of these seats, because these old people are fucking killing this country because they've been in these seats for 20, 30 fucking years. They're career politicians. Being a politician for the American people is not a fucking career. It's something you
Yes.
should aspire to
Yes.
do out of the benefit of the American people, not out of the benefit of your family or your paycheck.
Yes. You should not be a career motherfucking politician. That word right there is like, it's comical. Oh man. This is.
Political dynasties is absolutely fucking bullshit and completely ridiculous and an insult to democracy.
Fuck yeah, nigga. The Clintons shouldn't have a name. No one should have a name because of politics. Like that. What's up with that funky shit, nigga? Y'all ain't the czar. This is fucking the United States of America, nigga. Built by fucking immigrants, blacks, Latinos, Irish, fucking Chinese, from all over the place, nigga. Stop with that fucking racism. Stop with the halting of the fucking stimulus checks. Give niggas more money. Shut shit down so we can get rid of this fucking COVID disease, nigga. This pandemic. And wrap this show up. Why y'all fucking up so bad, bro? Y'all niggas can't go nowhere either. It's not exclusive to poor people. Rich niggas can't go nowhere either. So don't y'all want this shit gone? Y'all rich niggas can't go nowhere. Y'all rich niggas can't do shit neither. Y'all rich niggas catching COVID too. The fucking senator died like 4 fucking days ago. Rest in peace. I don't wish that on nobody. Shut this shit down. Y'all niggas are dying and catching this shit too. And y'all niggas are old as fuck. You gonna die before I do. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't care how much experimental drugs they got. Your 85-year-old body's not gonna withstand COVID if you get the worst strand of it. I'm gonna tell you right now, my lungs failed. I was on a respirator. Your 85-year-old dinosaur dust farting ass is not gonna stand through that shit. They inject you with a million fucking milligrams of steroids. It's not gonna work. But I'm gonna cut this shit because I think we have the fucking this whole podcast has been bread and butter. I don't want it to get to the crust. I don't want to exhaust it. And I'm fucking starving. Oops, my camera just almost fell. I'm starving. But this has been great. Like, this has been a phenomenal fucking podcast. I appreciate you calling in. Like, you are top 5 guests of all time. No cap.
Definitely down to be on more. I mean, I honestly have very strong opinions about a lot of things, but I'm always open to changing my opinion on things.
Yeah. Nah, man, it's been fucking nonstop fire. I appreciate you being a part of this podcast. The first Talk That Talk with Tokyeo, because it used to be Talk That Talk with Ish, but it's Talk That Talk with Tokyeo. I appreciate you being a part of this podcast. I appreciate everybody in the chat because there's been hella people typing in the chat. Excuse me. It's kind of hard to reply to them because it's been just a conscious stream of talking. But y'all have stuck with us. I appreciate you guys too. Please tune in. I don't know exactly when I'll be going live again. I'm gonna announce it. I'm probably gonna have Brandon with me again next time. But yeah, I don't know if you want to say anything.
Stop it, Alexa.